Welcome to this explainer. Today we're looking at a story that's, well, it's both incredibly inspiring and profoundly tragic. We're going to explore the life, the absolutely mind-blowing dual career, and the sudden, heartbreaking loss of a rising athlete whose star was truly just beginning to shine on the world stage. It's a story about relentless dedication, breaking boundaries, and, sadly, the fragile nature of life. Okay, let's dive into this by focusing on just one number. 26. It's heartbreakingly young, isn't it? That was Hannah Rapp's age when she was so suddenly taken from the world. I mean, at 26, most of us are just kind of figuring out our footing, right? Just starting to sketch out the blueprint of our adult lives. But Hannah, she was already operating at a level of excellence that few people ever reach. So her passing isn't just a loss for the people who knew and loved her. It's a massive, massive loss for the entire sporting world. The breaking news that completely stunned the sports community came out over the weekend. The professional boxer died Saturday morning after being struck by a vehicle while she was out cycling in Brazos County, Texas. It was just a normal Saturday morning ride, but it ended in an unimaginable tragedy, cutting short a life that was on such a remarkable upward trajectory. To really grasp the magnitude of this loss, we've got to look at who she was when the gloves came on. Hanarchy. That was her fierce, totally unforgettable in-ring persona. And what makes her story so compelling is that her boxing journey was just remarkably fast-tracked. She moved down from Indiana to the Bryan College Station area in Texas about 2 years ago, right around the time her boyfriend took a job at Texas A&M. Now keep in mind, she had been boxing for less than 5 years total. But her rise? Absolutely meteoric. Under the guidance of Coach Carl Perry at Bryan Boxing, Hanarchy rapidly transformed from a total newcomer into a genuine force in the sport. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is just how staggering her accomplishments were in that incredibly short time frame. We're talking about a professional record of 8 wins, 1 draw, and just 1 single loss. She didn't just participate, she conquered. She captured the North American Boxing Federation Featherweight Championship. And then just last month, she stepped right up to the ultimate stage, challenging Tiara Brown for the WBC Featherweight Championship. Getting to a world title challenge in under 5 years of even lacing up the gloves, that shows a level of sheer talent and grit that is honestly almost unheard of. But here's the thing, Hannah wasn't just a fighter. She lived this life of fascinating duality. On one hand, you've got the brutal, unforgiving, intensely physically demanding sport of professional boxing. And on the other, you have a brilliant academic and professional mind. Hannah was an environmental engineering graduate. In fact, before she ever threw a single punch in a professional ring, she was a Division I athlete competing in track and field for Purdue University. She was the absolute definition of a scholar athlete, perfectly balancing high-level intellect with raw physical power. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer, unwavering dedication she had to her craft. I mean, you might think a world championship contender is spending all day, every single day in some sponsored training camp, right? Not Hannah. She was actually a full-time employee at Texas A&M. To fuel her boxing dreams, she literally used her hard-earned vacation days and even took unpaid leave just to travel to Houston and Mexico to get fights and high-level training under her belt. She worked a regular, full-time day job to fund her path to a world title. It's just incredible. Which, sadly, brings us to the deeply sobering facts of what actually happened. On Saturday morning, just before 10 a.m., deputies from the Brazos County Sheriff's Office were dispatched to respond to a major crash involving a bicyclist. This all took place in the 23,000 block of FM 159. Let's respectfully walk through the exact sequence of events here, exactly as they've been reported by local authorities. According to the investigation, a vehicle initially drove past 2 bicyclists on the road. Then, for reasons that are still part of the ongoing investigation, the vehicle stopped and reversed, striking one of the cyclists, Hannah. First responders arrived and treated her right there at the scene before she was rushed to a local hospital, where she tragically succumbed to her injuries. Following the incident, the Brazos County Sheriff's Office arrested 31-year-old Charles Medina. He was taken into custody without incident and has been officially charged with manslaughter. He was subsequently booked into the Brazos County Detention Center. So, as the legal process begins to take its course, the sporting world has been left to grapple with this massive void she leaves behind. Almost immediately after the news broke, there was just this massive outpouring of grief from across the sports world. Most Valuable Promotions, which is a major player in modern boxing, quickly released a statement sending their absolute deepest condolences to Hannah's family, her friends, her teammates, and her coaches. It became clear very, very quickly that she wasn't just respected for her skills in the ring, she was deeply loved by the community she had become such a vital part of. And perhaps nothing captures this sentiment better than this tribute. The president of the WBC, Mauricio Sulaiman, personally paid his respects, stating, "She was an exceptional boxer, but above all, an invaluable member of our boxing family." He spoke about the grief just overwhelming her loved ones and her team. For the president of one of the sport's biggest sanctioning bodies to speak so highly of her, I mean, that really speaks volumes about the profound impact she made on the boxing world in such a remarkably short window of time. We really want to end this explainer by remembering Hannah in her own words. When talking to a local news station recently about her sudden shot at a world title, she said, "So few people get the opportunity to fight for a world championship. We're taking it immediately." Think about that for a second. She didn't hesitate. She didn't make excuses about having a full-time job or lacking decades of experience. She saw the opportunity and she seized it with everything she had. So, as we remember her incredible life today, it leaves us with a final, powerful question to reflect on. How can we apply Hannah's fearless drive to seize the opportunities in our own lives?